Hi everyone, I am Night Shifter and today I'm gonna talk about DBFZ combos a lot. We are gonna explore every nook and cranny of how this stuff works, starting with beginner level stuff that will help you get by if you just started playing, then advancing through the deeper, weirder intricacies of how combos function later. Everything in here will be general knowledge, so things that apply to every or most characters in the game. If you're ready to learn how the craziest lab monsters of this game think, let's get into it. First things first, you should know this game has 4 button types: light, medium, heavy, and unique, notated through L, M, H, and S respectively, as you can see on the left. I call S buttons unique so that we don't confuse them with special moves, though I will just say S instead of unique from now on. We also tend to refer to these buttons as normals. So these are normals, and the stuff that takes additional quarter circle inputs and stuff are specials. Normals can be standing, crouching, or jumping. Press L by itself and you get a standing light attack. Press M while holding down and you get a crouching medium. Press S in the air and you get a jumping S, and so on. To save you some confusion down the line, I'm also gonna quickly explain command normals. And they're basically just extra normals that some characters have access to. For example, everyone has like a crouching medium, a standing heavy, and so on. But not everyone has a forward heavy. Cell is among the handful of characters who do. If you try to do the same input with Super Saiyan Goku, for example, you would just get his basic standing heavy. Cell is just privileged, and he also has an aerial command normal, which is his aerial down medium. He's just perfect like that. He has extra normals because he's extra. So that's basically command normals. Finally, this game has an auto combo system you probably already know about. Mash light and you get a light auto combo. Mash medium and you get a medium auto combo, at least if it hits. These are decent crutches for the absolute beginners, but they don't do very good damage and they don't provide a good knockdown either. I'm gonna teach you a solid manual combo that will give you both of those things. Get ready. You're gonna start by pressing light twice and then you're gonna go into a crouching medium. You might notice this pops the opponent off the ground. This is what lets you carry them up to the skies after. Follow it up with a standing medium, then jump forward and press jumping light twice, then down heavy. Treat all of these as one long input sequence to memorize. Once you get it down, we can continue. After the air down heavy, press super dash to catch up to the opponent and press light light down heavy once again. This time, after the down heavy, you immediately jump forward and finish the combo by pressing light light light. Put everything together and it should look like this. Congratulations, you've learned your first bread and butter combo. Proud of you, genuinely. This is gonna carry the shit out of you through those lower ranks in matchmaking, so make sure you can do it consistently. A lot of characters also have special moves that you can use instead of jumping heavy to get their knockdown. For example, Super Saiyan Goku here can do light light S, quarter circle forward M, and get a little more damage that way. Depending on who you play, this might even be outright required, since there's a few characters who have weird jumping heavies, like Vegito. His jumping heavy just kinda sends opponents flying forward, as you can see. So what he has to do instead is end with jumping S into quarter circle back M. See what special moves your characters can use for this. You can find them all here to see in their special move list. For Vegito, I had to use his Atomic Buster. There are also characters who don't have traditional aerial down heavies. So for example, Santa's kinda just immediately knocks down. In such cases, it's easiest to just kinda go into down heavy from the ground and continue from there. Like this, for instance. Depends on your character, so experiment to see what their normals look like. If you want to add some extra damage and style at the end of your combo, you can use a super like this, provided you have enough meter. After the knockdown, you just do quarter circle forward into R1 or right bumper for a level 1. Or I don't have meter right now for either, but there you have it. Or for a level 3, you just do the same thing but quarter circle back. On PC, you do quarter circles plus whatever button you assign to Dragon Rush. I forgot I had this fucking mod on Super Saiyan Goku, excuse me. But there you have it. During a level 1, if I just had a little more meter to this here, you can also call your teammates to do their own supers. And by pressing back plus assist during supers, you'll get a level 3. So technically you could do level 1, level 1, level 3. And if you have the meter for that, it will add approximately a fuck ton of damage to your combos. Now you should keep in mind supers only really work at the end because of the sliding knockdown that combo puts the opponent in. If you just do an auto combo, you'll notice it doesn't make them slide across the floor in the same way, and you cannot connect the super before they recover. Besides letting you land supers though, sliding knockdowns also give you a lot more time to get back in the opponent's face, and make them scared that you're gonna combo them again. So main takeaway, always go for combos that give sliding knockdowns. What do you do if the opponent blocks though? Don't worry, I got you covered. When you do a string of normals against a blocking opponent like this is called a blockstring. Thankfully, just like there's a good go-to combo, most of the roster has a good go-to blockstring as well. Light, light, crouching medium, standing S, heavy, and then a special that they have. Just faster. In general, this string should keep you safe from opponents that try to counterattack you. There's more that you can do to stop mashers, but it ain't combo related, so I won't cover it here. You can ask about it in the comments if you're really curious though. One more tangent. Many combos will start with an instant air dash normal like this. Instant air dashes, or IADs for short, are important not just for combos, but for basically every aspect of the game. So here's how you do them. You just press up forward and then forward immediately after. Do it quickly enough and you will get an air dash that is instant off the ground. Some beginners make this harder for themselves by jumping and then trying to double tap forward while in the air. You don't need to do that. The input for jumping forward is counted by the game as one of the inputs for air dashing already. So you don't need 3 inputs total for this, you only need 2. Get used to doing IADs forwards and backwards, by the way. The game also has a macro that you can enable for this, and my menu is kinda fucked because my game is modded, but it's in the button mapping settings here. At the bottom, you should find the macro for quick dashing. I have it disabled personally because I just prefer to do it the standard way, but if you enable it, if you hold up forward and then press super dash while holding it, you will just get a forward air dash that way. It only applies for forward air dashes. Backwards ones will still have to be manual, but if you prefer forward air dashes this way, then by all means enable the macro. Get used to doing them, they'll be super useful, trust me. Anyway, up next we have an important note. DBFZ players always use Numpad annotations for their buttons, because it's a quick and simple system to write with. It's much easier to write combos with inputs like j.H instead of having to write down H or things like that. And it's especially useful because combos in this game get very long. Like really fucking long. The combo we learned earlier looks like this in Numpad notation. The most notable things are that J means jumping, JC means jump cancel, which is just jumping after a button hits, 5 means standing, and 2 means crouching. I'll be using this system from now on to save time. You take your time though and pause the video as needed until you figure out what means what. With that out of the way, something nice about that combo is that you can also do it after using j.H against those filthy, nasty super dash spammers. Get out of here, you. Just follow up your j.H with super dash into light light j.H jump light light light, as we learned before. This works because grounded j.H and aerial j.H send opponents flying in the same way. We'll touch more on that later, but anyway, the same combo also works for when you crack someone open with a Dragon Rush. Remember to use your character's special ender if they have one as well. There's also a way to improve on the combo if you want. Instead of light light j.H, you can actually do super dash into jmll j.H, then end with light light light. It'll give you a tiny bit more damage. Can you do this with the first bread and butter? Absolutely, let me just show it off. If you're fast enough, after 5M you can jump into MLL j.H, super dash and then do the same thing, MLL j.H and then jump into light light light. This will give you a solid amount of extra damage. Some characters like Blondku here have the privilege of getting to fit in an extra j.S as well. S buttons do more damage than lights, so it's pretty good. For example, he can do 2M5M MLS j.H, MLS j.H, LLS j236M. And this will give him another bit of extra damage on top of the one from before. See if your own characters can do this too. This is a cool little thing to experiment with. Note that cancelling from JS into other normals tends to have pretty weird timing though. That is all for the beginners section. You now know some of the fundamental mechanics behind DBFZ strings, Numpad notation, and a flexible combo that you can expand on however you want. So feel free to indulge in demolishing some lower ranks for me. From here on out, I'm gonna get into the more advanced notions. Let's continue, or you can come back when you feel ready. Regardless, I hope that I have helped you so far. To preface this section, most of us long-time players figured out a good portion of the stuff ahead just by stealing and inventing a bunch of combos, until we consciously or subconsciously noticed the little things that improved them. It's very possible to learn these mechanics by feel, and I even encourage you to do so. I just hope that you can use this video as a tool to facilitate that learning process and make it easier to understand those situations where you might go, "Whoa, that worked. Why the fuck did that work?" Or perhaps need some help making a TOD attempt kill. Feel free to steal combos from wherever you see them as well, and try to improve on them or just mess around to see what alternatives there are. Learning through your very own experiments is fun and effective. But now let's get back into it. Earlier in the video, I mentioned that j.H and j.H send opponents flying in the same way. Time to elaborate on that. Heavies and a lot of special moves in this game trigger something that we call smash property. You may notice that whenever you hit someone with a heavy, there's a little pop-up on the left side of the screen that says smash. The way I see it, in a simplified way, there are 3 different types of smash in this game, which I refer to as up smash, forward smash, and down smash. j.H and j.H send opponents up, so they consume up smash. Ending with j.H after an up smash will consume down smash, giving a sliding knockdown as a result. Forward smash is consumed by 5H among other things. You might notice that if I try to end with JH after a forward smash, I do not get a sliding knockdown. You also cannot restore any of these smashes once you consume them. So if I try to use up smash twice, I cannot. If I try to use down smash twice, I also cannot, as you can see. Why would you ever use forward smash though? Well, there's many reasons. For one, it gives you better corner carry than the average up smash combo. Secondly, a lot of characters get stronger combos in general from it, especially if you can do more advanced things with them. And lastly, a lot of characters, or I should say the vast majority, have a special move like that forces sliding knockdowns now. So what this actually means is that forward smash combos are better overall. There's just a lot more variety to them in terms of how each character approaches them. Unlike the basic up smash combo, you can't really do the same basic 5H route for everyone, or you'll get worse results if you try to. Heck, some characters don't even really do 5H combos, but instead, they spend forward smash in a different way, or save it for later in combos. For example, Super Saiyan Goku can use j.H+S super dash to extend well without spending smash and save it for j.H+S just like that, to end with j.H+S j.H+S. Of course, that ender only works because things that trigger smash property get a lot of extra hitstun when they do. And in case you don't know, hitstun is basically just the amount of time a move gives you to hit the opponent with something else after it. So yeah, smash moves have a lot of hitstun. The effect also gives them a little extra damage. Now that you know how smash property works, it's time to go over some exceptions to the rules I mentioned earlier. This first one isn't really a rule breaker more than it is just a worthwhile thing to mention. But Chu-M, for every character, has very good hitstun for a smashless normal, and that is because it's a launcher. As in, it pops opponents off the ground to enable air combos. So for example, in Santa's case, 5M j.H+S will not combo, but Chu-M j.H+S will, just because of that extra launch and hitstun. This one is a rule breaker. 5LLL in particular always has smash, no matter how many times you use it in a combo. This doesn't help everyone very much, but some characters can just loop 5LLL and it does great damage due to the little damage boost that smash property gives to things. And also because the sequence of 5LLL is actually considered a light, a medium, and a heavy, respectively. Vanish always has forward smash no matter what, but only once per combo. If you try to Vanish twice in a combo, the second Vanish won't do a whole lot for you. Vanish has another weird thing about it in that there is a window you must hit for it to trigger smash. If I do, for example, beam into Vanish here, it works as usual, but if I Vanish too late, then I might not get the smash here, even though the opponent was still clearly in hitstun. So if you Vanish confirm something, better make sure you're quick enough about it. Just an odd unspoken rule the game has. Dragon Rush and other command grabs are probably the weirdest though. You can only ever use one type of grab per combo, just to get that out of the way first. So for example, you can't do 2 Dragon Rushes in one combo, as the second one will just whiff. When you do use Dragon Rush though, make sure you hold the button down so that you get 31 hits. It's literally free damage. But moving on. Say you open someone up with a Dragon Rush. Here it will consume up smash and allow you to get an automatic down smash. However, if you try to use it in the middle of a combo, it will consume every smash you have left. So let's try something wacky like this. Combo into Dragon Rush like this. and super dash follow-up try to get a sliding knockdown, it's not gonna work for me. Try to combo Dragon Rush, Vanish, that's not gonna have smash either, everything is consumed. A grounded Dragon Rush will forward smash them as you saw earlier, and an air Dragon Rush will down smash them, so give you a sliding knockdown. The good part is that Dragon Rush always triggers those properties no matter what though, so even if you used all your smashes beforehand, like this, you'll still be able to secure a sliding knockdown in some way and go into supers. Again, same goes for every command grab. In general, they are unaffected by hitstun decay, may let you get sliding knockdowns when you otherwise couldn't, and some characters can even end with Dragon Rush into command grab like this and be good to go. But speaking of hitstun decay, what is that exactly? That's gonna be the next topic. Hitstun decay is basically the limiter combos have in DBFZ. If it didn't exist, you could just infinite the fuck out of people forever and ever, and that would just be no fun. You will see though that Goku's combo will drop eventually. Essentially, this is how it works. The longer your combo is, the less hitstun each move will start to have. Contrary to what many people think, DBFZ's hitstun decay is actually not affected by hit count at all. It is purely time based. So hypothetically, you could do like 500 hits in a combo as long as you did it in the span of about 10 seconds or less. Because of this, sometimes just a few frames can make a difference between a successful combo and a drop. Whenever a combo is called tight on hitstun decay, it means any accidental delays are likely to make it drop. Each move has a certain amount of base hitstun, of course. In general, lights have less than mediums and so on. If your combo gets too long though, no normals will have enough hitstun left to keep it going. And sometimes that can even apply to things like Vanish or the knockdowns from special moves. They can drop midway through if you get to absurd levels of hitstun decay. There's still moves like certain grabs, or most of them really, and that includes Dragon Rush. But command grabs, Dragon Rush, and supers always have fixed hitstun regardless of the decay, and that makes them great for ending longer combos. For specific levels of decay, if you're a nerd, please check this chart from Dustloop Wiki, using frames as the measurement unit. DBFZ runs in 60 FPS, so every 60 frames here is 1 second. Link to the original page in the description, I highly recommend you check it out. Now then, it's about time we talked about this. How do you do the big damage bombos? It's actually quite simple. When you want to go for the kill, the best rule to follow is big hits first. Look for the highest damaging moves your character has, and try to place them as close to the start of your combo as possible. For example, some of Super Saiyan Goku's highest damage moves are his heavies, his Kamehameha, and 236M and H. Using these early on is guaranteed to make the combo hurt like a bitch, so a starter like this would be a great TOD starter. However, those moves are also pretty slow, so past a certain point, you would have to transition towards moves that are somewhere in the middle in terms of speed and damage, so that you don't run out of hitstun too quickly. Then at the end, you use the fastest moves you have and try to get an ender that works at any hitstun decay, like a Dragon Rush into supers. Many characters also have special moves that are fairly consistent as enders, like how Super Saiyan Goku can pretty reliably do j.H+S into supers. It's up to you to find those for your own characters. Balancing the speed and damage of your moves to make the absolute most out of the time hitstun decay allows you is how you get great high damaging bombos. A lot of the time this means cutting your starters a little short before your launcher. For example, if you land a j.H. starter, It's better to do j.H+S and go from there instead of doing a longer string beforehand, because it saves hitstun decay and because you're using your stronger move 5H earlier on. Sometimes striking the right balance can also mean using a light button somewhere in the middle of your combo though, weirdly, partly just due to how scaling works. Cue smooth transition. How does scaling work? First of all, you should know that the scaling of a combo is only affected by the very first move. There are certain specials that make mid-combo scaling advance further than normal, but those are exceptions to the rule. In any case, that rule is why it's important to figure out which moves scale well and which don't really. In general, L and S normal scale like crap and so do jump-ins. Meanwhile, M and H buttons are some of your best starters. There's also moves that do really high damage but scale poorly. For example, even though Super Saiyan Goku's Kamehameha does over 1000 damage, you will usually get less out of it than from the 700 damage medium, just because the medium scales better. How well a normal or special scales is kind of arbitrary though. After the first move in your combo, the next moves will do incrementally less by a certain percentage. For instance, after a medium starter, the second move will do 90% of the damage it normally would, like how his heavy normally does 1000, but here it did 900, 90% of its base damage. Then as the third move, it would do 80% and so on. On the other hand, off a light starter, the damage of the second move would already be 80% of its base, and go down from there, so it gets worse quicker. No matter how late in the combo you are though, each move will do at minimum 10% of its base damage. That way we won't get combos where each hit does like 1 damage by the end. A notable exception to this rule is Vanish. Using Vanish in the middle of a combo jumps a bunch of scaling steps to get you to the minimum faster. So for example, if I did 5H, Vanish, 5H again, instead of doing 800 damage here like it normally would, it's just way less. This is also why starters like Ki Blast into Vanish do so little damage. Also, small thing worth noting. Everyone's 5LL scales like a medium, so it's the best possible starter for a lot of characters just due to how many possible follow-ups it has. And since we're here, for Santa in particular, it's actually his only medium starter that he has. So if you land this with him, your opponent is going to perish. For more details on specific scaling steps, calculations, and exceptional scenarios, also if you're a nerd, please check the damage entry on Dustloop Wiki, linked in the description. Okay, but how do you structure sparking combos? Well, you still follow the same rules when it comes to hitstun decay and scaling and all that shit, but you get a lot more freedom to do what you want with your combos. Since on top of just getting more raw damage and meter in general, you get to jump cancel every single normal, you get to air dash cancel all air normals, and most notably, cancel specials into specials, including each variation of every special if it has multiple. So you can do, for example, 236H into lights, into medium, and this is a funny little reset, but you get the idea. Try to put together routes that use those high damage specials as much as possible, or come up with whatever cool loops you want with the extra movement options you have. Something with high damage specials at the start with Blondku would be something like this. Just to get a little creative here with a link. And something with loops would be Base Goku's old as time 5LLL loops with IAD j.H+S. You also get access to empty Vanish only usable in sparking, and it is super useful since it lets you pick up off things that you couldn't otherwise without scaling the combo really badly. So off beams or something, you can do pickups like this, which will net you a lot of fucking damage for a full screen poke. In some cases, you can also use it to end long combos that you're not sure how to end. Just do an empty Vanish, JDR, and supers and go from there. That was all of the theoretical stuff I know. Now I'm gonna go over something more practical. Rejumps. If you just kinda skipped ahead to here, don't worry, this section is pretty self-contained. Rejumps are basically combos that let you touch the ground in the middle of them to get your double jump and super dash back after having already spent them. Because there's a lot of differences in everyone's combo structure, some characters can do that more easily than others, but I'm gonna go over what is called the quote-unquote universal 5H rejump here. A large portion of the cast can do it, and if you can pull this off, you should be able to learn any other kind of rejump no problem moving forward. This is what it looks like. If you've never done a rejump before, you might struggle with this for quite some time, so be ready for that. Once you get it though, you get it, and it quickly turns into muscle memory. Make sure you're doing it mid-screen, cause doing it in the corner would have different timing, and it's not worth it anyway, as corner combos tend to follow different, better structures. Mid-screen it's worth doing because it vastly increases your combo potential with most characters who can do it, and it also lets you get to the corner of basically any hit. I recommend practicing this rejump with one of the 3 main Gokus, like Base, Super, and Blue, as it is a little more lenient with them than others. To make this work, you must delay Super Dash so that it hits the opponent right before they touch the ground. Normally, if you Super Dash immediately after 5H, it will catch them right as they bounce off the wall, at the highest possible height. But we want them to be super low, so practice that Super Dash delay. A decent cue to follow would be to press the Super Dash button as you see the opponent hit the wall, like this. That height would have been perfect. Now, if you delayed Super Dash properly, you can follow up with an air dash JM, and then immediately after that, buffer in a dash jump JL. You don't need to wait until you land to do the dash jump input, you can just do it immediately after JM. If you haven't heard of those before, dash jumps are simply jumps boosted by dashing. Try dashing forward then jumping outside of a combo, and you'll notice it gives you a lot of momentum. Dash jumps are also a tiny bit faster than normal jumps. So by buffering one in as you fall to the ground after air dash JM, you'll be sure it comes out instantly, and this, paired with the low height you're at, is what allows rejumps to work. From there, you just press JLL and continue the combo as you wish. If you want to practice just the dash jump portion, you can do it off raw super dash no problem like so. Good luck! Once you get rejumps down, you should practice holding super dash down during them. This activates the game's super jump macro, where holding S will automatically make any jump a super jump, and therefore you will get a super dash jump during combos, which will let you sneak in an extra normal in there when you otherwise could not, kinda like this. DBFZ counts the input for super dash as H and S pressed together. Knowing this, if you try to press super dash again after having already spent it, you will just get the jumping heavy. This can come to our advantage, as that is what allows rejumps like this to function. What happens is the super jump macro is activated because you're technically holding S, and you still get a jumping heavy to rejump off of. Of course, this only works well with characters that have jumping heavies like this that send opponents flying forward. And not all of them allow for mid-screen rejumps, but you can always do stuff in the corner with them, kinda like this. Finally, some tips for labbing combos in training mode. In the pause menu, go over to Info Display Settings, and here you will find things like the virtual controller, damage, input history, and other stuff. Stuff that you can't see here because, again, my modded game is a little fucked, but you get the idea. You might already be familiar with most of these, but there's also a nice little trick you can do with this function, Reset Damage Information. What you can do is, in the middle of a combo, if you want to see how much a specific part does, you can do Reset Damage in the middle of a combo, and then see the scaled damage values, just like so. So Kaioken here did 854. That's neat. Also, if you happen to lab tag combos, you might find it handy to go to Training Settings and go to the bottom and toggle Starting Character to Restore Defaults, so that you will always go back to your point character when resetting positions, as you can see right here. With that, we have reached the end of this video. I hope you learned something useful from it. Thanks for watching and take care.